everyone, I'm Lucina, and welcome to my Genshin channel. 5.7 and with that one Skirk is gonna be released in just a short few days. But before that we got one more teaser, so I'm here to watch that and analyze what kind of lore crumbs we're getting for one last time before the big reveal.
Skirk no yukue ka.
Ooh, we got a little Arlecchino cameo as well. But yeah, she was the one who was kinda tasked to find out where Skirk is. Tartaglia really wanted to find that out. He's still training. Wanna get Skirk to use both hands, as you know. I mean, just fell into the abyss, that's why. Oh, and also... Oh, there's a narwhal! There's a narwhal there. I'm gonna watch it first and then react to all of these little lines there. Except for the bow. The bow is still not there. Oh! True, yep. Oh! Look at this animation! Wow, this is a different style from the usual anime, but I like it so much. Oh, that's just the first step. How you can become stronger. Oh, this is also the 7-phase flash. Like the elemental skill that Skirk is using here with the black clothing. Oh, this is very cool. I just love this style so much. Kinda reminds me of the Tower of God. Like that had this very specific style. And there is Skirk. Ooh, a lot of things to analyze. One last question though. Yeah, she's very cold. Has been a prevalent theme across all the teasers and information known about her. And there's a yeet. It cannot have any animation without a yeet. And she's still not smiling. I mean, her answer was just bam. Ooh. Ooh. Wait, that is young Skirk, still not Abyssal ridden. Oh, what kind of planet is that? It's looking kind of dying, if I'm being honest. Not long of a teaser, but my goodness, there's so much to talk. This is kind of the continuation of that one Fountain quest, where if you remember, after the whole ordeal with the narwhal, Tartaglia said that he woke up in Chesnea and couldn't find Skirk, and he went to Arlecchino to kind of track her down. You have no idea what she's up to. If she doesn't want to meet you, you're not gonna meet her. And it seems like leading up to Skirk's story, they still haven't met. But something must have happened because I would assume in her story quest they're gonna be meeting and Tartaglia is gonna be able to ask these questions. And those 3 questions from the young Ajax were, first of all, is why did you agree to train me? To that one was because you awaken that. This teaser heavily implies that that thing is gonna be the narwhal, which we can see the shadows here as well. But it also could be something else. I mean, Genshin is known to just play around with words. But something right after, something interesting, when Skirk talks about you have to get stronger to survive that battle. However, in Japanese, this is just simply saying that you have to survive and return home. Not really talking anything about any battle. But it could be in English translation, they just mean battle in general. Skirk is like, I can beat you with one hand. Imagine what more powerful entities could do to you. I don't think there is any big battle that's about to happen. I mean, there is gonna be one. We have seen it in the trailer where someone who is, I don't think Surtalogi, but definitely was mentioned that that one thing stole Surtalogi's power. So that definitely could be the battle. However, I'm not necessarily sure that that's what she means here. And afterwards, we haven't heard other questions. However, it was brought up that he is still not good with the bow. This is such a recurring theme with Tartaglia. This video is about Skirk, but I mean, obviously, we have to talk a little bit about Tartaglia as well. We know that he is good with all kinds of weapons, except for the bow, but that is the reason that he's a bow user, because he just wanna use his weakest weapon to get better with that, which is also him kind of try to mimic Skirk, because if you remember, he said about Skirk in that one comic that Skirk is arrogant, which by the way, at that time I didn't really explain it. Thank you for the comments pointing it out. While in Chinese they did use the word arrogance from right away, in Japanese this is a little bit different, because at the very start they use a different type of word, which in Japanese is hokori takai, of which a better translation would be pride in your art, basically. In this sense, pride in your fight. But worth to mention, right after, they do use the word arrogance, which is goman in Japanese. But this is still not like arrogance in necessarily a negative way, and that's why you're arrogant, because you're kind of proud of what you have. But nonetheless, Tartaglia in that sense 100% taken off the Skirk, because he's like, I'm not good with the bow, that's why I need to use the bow so I can get better with it. And by the way, if you read the comic, just another little explanation. In Japanese, this is very explicitly saying that she's strong and she has a pride in it, and it's not the other way around. So it's not like she's arrogant and that affects her playstyle, but she's very strong, and that's where the arrogance is coming from. And as I said, we don't really see the other type of questions. This is just one question. The second question, at least, is kind of left in the shadows. Maybe we find out in the story quest. And while Skirk talks about how Tartaglia's goal should be to follow Surtalogi's steps and become even stronger, her saying that you should just pursue even more power. I have seen some discourse about, now what if you surpass even Surtalogi and maybe that way become a descender? But here's the thing that I just don't get. And once again, if I'm wrong, feel free to write me a comment. But like, Tartaglia just cannot be a descender. He is from Tibet. So I feel like one of the requirements for being a descender is already not working out. And I do think that is the reason that Surtalogi also cannot be a descender and looking for potential descenders, like for example in Skirk. So in that sense, we still don't really know why she's training Tartaglia. He cannot be a descender unless there's something else we don't know. But both Surtalogi, all the sinners, and even Korea itself, this is their obsession to get a descender into Tibet. And while, as I mentioned, the second question was not said out loud, maybe for a reason, but the last question is, why is she never smiling, basically? Tartaglia is saying, why is your face always the same? This definitely made Skirk angry, or not necessarily angry, but like probably reminded her of her past, I'd say. And there is the famous little throwaway Tartaglia scene. However, it seems like that she did have some kind of answer. I'm not sure to which question, but yeah, I'm pretty sure the story quest is gonna go on to that. And I guess I already kind of answered my question, why Skirk is training Tartaglia. So one day those two can explore the ruined stars. This with a big reveal of a ruined planet in front of us. And this is where a lot of people were questioning if the planet we are seeing here would be Tibet or maybe not Tibet. We see the red dots here, which, I mean, they're just burning. And if you remember, in Skirk's character skill showcase, there was a very important slide talking about her solitude is not some show meant to maintain an air of mystery. She was once the lost rabbit left stranding in the wildfire's wake. Now she's a lion in disguise, unable to speak her truth to the sheep. And this line, while basically the same in Japanese, also seeing her formal self now kind of confirmed that that was her formal self, being referred to as a rabbit. In case you don't know, this depiction of a rabbit is very important because in a lot of cultures, including Chinese and Japanese, the rabbit has a heavy association with the moon, which by the way comes from the fact that the moon has like a little rabbit in it. I'm not sure if you guys have ever seen it that way, but yep, apparently that's a rabbit. And in this folklore, the rabbit is a little companion for the moon goddess. And now back to the question, is this Tibet? I would lean to maybe no, even though we have seen in the anime that Tibet is also not looking too hot on the planet to which the portal opened. I mean, that also looks kind of ruined. But right here, the fact that the rabbit, which is basically like a moon rabbit, was in a wildfire kind of implies to me that this is her home planet being destroyed right now, just before she was rescued. And one more thing before I stop yapping and continue my grind for Skirk. No abyssal marks in here. This is still her limbs intact. And also there is just a huge age gap here, so she has definitely went on some adventures before arriving to Tibet. And what is this force destroying the universe? In Genshin, they say it is the Abyss. I'm not necessarily sure if this is similar to the Honkai from other Honkai games, where the Honkai is a force to basically destroy the universes that became too technologically advanced. And that would also fit Genshin's story about the Heavenly Principle just don't want people to find out about what's happening. Maybe this is actually the Honkai. I'm not necessarily sure if you're gonna be seeing the word Honkai whenever refer to that. For now, they say as Abyss, but I think this is still very similar. And basically, that's it. I feel like I have analyzed everything I wanted. As per usual, if you noticed something else, if I got something wrong, maybe if something wasn't clear enough, then write me a comment. I'm always waiting for your comments. There's 2 more days until the new Archon quest and 2 more days until Skirk story quest. I'm gonna make so much content whenever it comes out, including streams, highlight videos, and of course, more lore related, more analytical content as well. So if you're interested in those, make sure to subscribe. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to give a like. I will see you on my Genshin channel and see you in the next one. Bye bye!